Hello, and welcome to Book 4, Chapter 17 of You Should Be Reading. This week, I've got no actual book to talk to you about. No. This week I want to talk to you about something else entirely. I want to talk to you about hardcovers versus paperbacks. Now, this is something that I myself weigh in on one side or the other on, but I've asked around with some few people that I know online and whatnot, and a lot of the responses I found are very similar um, in terms of whether they prefer hardcover, whether they prefer paperback, so on and so forth. Now, me, I'm a paperback man. As you probably have seen from many of the times that I've shown books to you, most of them tend to be in paperbacks. I do have some hardcovers, some of which are just because I started buying a certain thing, like with Terry Pratchett's Tiffany Aching books. I started when I first bought the first couple of them. They ended up being in hardcover, and I just had to finish off getting the rest of them in hardcover because I'd started. It was all it was. Other ones that I have on my shelves are gifts from people that have given me books. Um, they bought the hardcover, which is fine. Um, but me, I'm a paperback man. And the reason I'm a paperback man is because of the portability. I'm a huge fan of being able to take my books to work with me. I've got a lunch bag that I put my books. There's this like front pocket about yay big, and paperbacks generally fit very nicely inside that front pocket. Nice and safe. I can zip it up, and there's my books. I take it out when I go on my break and I read, and I put it back when I'm done. Uh, but it's the portability of it, and the fact that they tend to be smaller, less weight, and I can fit more of them on my shelves. That's why I tend to go paperback. Um, there's also the fact that it tends to be cheaper as well. Hardcover usually tends to run somewhere around, I think, 25, 30 bucks per book, unless if you're buying it brand new from a bookstore and not going to a used bookstore or something. Whereas paperbacks generally tend to be around anywhere between 6 to 12. So cost-effective measures, paperbacks pretty good. I mean, you can even go even like less space that for them to take up, and even cheaper by going ebook. But I've already done a video about ebooks and audiobooks and regular books back in book 2 of You Should Be Reading, if you want to check that out. Now, that's why I am. And I've heard from a lot of people about hardcovers that some of the reasons why they buy that is because of the way they look on the shelves. And I can't disagree with that. In fact, I'm going to put up a picture, a close-up picture of the little shelf I've got over there right underneath the spider, because I've got the entirety of a series of unfortunate events, which is all smaller, like paperback sized, but hardcover. And I can't deny that they look fantastic sitting on the shelf as they do side by side. I'm going to pop that up right now. All right, see? You see how nice they look and everything? That's kind of why I do that for certain ones, for certain books. Um, they can look very nice. They're also sturdier. I've heard a lot of people say they're simply stronger, longer lasting, more durable to wear and tear because they've got the hardcover protecting the pages inside. Can't deny that. They absolutely are. But for me, they take up a lot of space on my shelf. Like one hardcover book, I could fit 2 or 3 uh, paperbacks, depending on the size of them, in the same space. Um, so it's a matter of space for me. And for some people, it can be a matter of space. For some people, it's a matter of aesthetic. They like them to look nice. So hardcover books, they absolutely do look lovely. That durability as well as the availability, because hardcovers tend to be the first copies of a book that are released. There are often the hardcover comes out first when the book is officially released, and then 6 months or so down the road, the paperback version gets released, sometimes even later. I'm not sure the exact time on it. And that means for me, who tends to prefer buying things in paperback, like, for example, the Dresden Files, Jim Butcher, um, one of my friends had read the latest book, Skin Game, before I'd even bought it because it simply wasn't out on paperback when I went to buy it. I still haven't read Skin Game yet, actually, but the point remains. I Because of my choice, I don't have that immediate able to grab that book and read it as soon as it comes out. Mind you, my to be read list is quite massive, so I probably wouldn't get around to reading it immediately. Anyways, but those are some of the wonderful pros and cons, I guess you could say, of paperbacks and hardcovers. Is any one better? Not really, I'd say. No. It all depends on what you, as a reader, are looking for. If you're looking for uh, more bang for your buck, paperback is probably the way to go because then you're getting a lot more for the money, more books. If you're someone who likes to have books that are going to last them like ages and ages, hardcover's probably a good thing to go. There's also something to be said for collector's editions, which tend to be put out in hardcover um, and tend to be, better kept simply because of that. So there's that as well. It all depends on what you, as a reader, are looking for and what you want out of your books. So I can't say that one or the other is better. It might be a bit of a cop out, especially with the title of this being hardcover versus paperbacks. Um, but it's all dependent on what you, as a reader, want out of your books, out of your library. Um, if you want to have a more cost-effective library, paperbacks may be the way to go about it, or ebooks if you don't mind reading off a device. Me particularly, I'm not overly fond of it. I am very much a book in my hand, love the smell of paper and whatnot type of a guy. It's just how I am. So that's that. Uh, yeah, there's not really too much more to say. Other than, as always, if you like what I'm doing, please give that like button a tap. Give that subscribe button a tap as well if you haven't already, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. Usually try and get at least one video out a week, if not more. And throw a comment in that comment section. Uh, what do you prefer, paperbacks or hardcovers? And why do you prefer it? Why do you buy paperbacks over hardcovers or hardcovers over paperbacks? What drives you in your purchasing power? Even if you don't do either one, if you go for ebooks, let me know in that comment section. I'd love to get a discussion going with some people. And until next time, you should be reading whatever book of your choice you want to read. Hardcovers, paperbacks, doesn't matter. Uh, Tune in next week because next week I'm going to be doing a super fun little look at another Terry Pratchett book. I'm going to keep it a secret as to what one it is until next week, my friend. So until then, you all take care, and I'll see you next time.